everybody. I hope you're all doing well. We've got a winter solstice coming up. We got a lot of things coming up. And I want to listen to the energies of this winter solstice specifically. It's like such a crazy time of year. There's no other month quite like December, you know? I mean, we have all these family gatherings and get-togethers, vacation times. We're celebrating the new year. So there's holiday stuff, there's gift-giving stuff, there's family, friends stuff, celebration stuff, winter solstice stuff. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all finding it to be a fun time of year, not too stressful. And I hope you're looking forward to new things in the upcoming 2023. I haven't done a journey into 2023 yet, but I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. But for now, I'm going to do a journey into the winter solstice energies, and let's find out what the most meaningful wisdom and healing is for all of us. Are you ready? All right, I'm going to relax now. Get in the zone here. Okay. I will say that my first experience is there's a lot of pressure on the heart, and I feel a lot of like holding of my breath. That's the sensation. But in the distance, and it's not too far ahead, I see there's a light shining down in a dark night, okay? And it's interesting because when it shines down from the sky, it actually makes what is like a Christmas tree-like shape. And it's just light that is shining down. It is completely pitch black. It's like the blackest of night skies. And again, I am experiencing, there's pressure on the heart. There's pressure in the breath. I feel this sense of resistance. This is part of our collective energies and how we're moving forward here. And then there's this light before me, and it's not too far ahead in the distance. Blackest of night, okay, is here also. But it's supposed to be stated that this light is penetrating the darkness, okay? And I feel there's this longing to be in the light and not in the darkness. So then the question is, where are we standing, okay? Where are you standing? And don't kid yourself, because if you're saying, well, it feels like we're all standing in the darkest of night. Look at the world today. That's not correct. That is not true. You have to ask yourself, where are you standing? And you need to be honest. Are you standing in the light of something else, or are you standing in the light of yourself? If you feel like you are stuck in the darkest of night and you can't reach that light, what are we going to do about that? Because there is this pressure on the heart, this difficulty in breathing, this feeling like it's making this distance real for me. It's making this feel like it's so close but yet so far away, and I just want to be in this light, but I'm not in this light. So we have this going on too in the perspective. So let's explore this. How can we feel like we are in the presence of the light shining down upon us? But don't forget your own light, because you yourself are light, okay? In the darkest of night, you yourself are light. You don't have to go get to the light, because you are the light. So don't feel like you have to get to something outside of yourself. You are the light. You could even be the light that's shining down in the darkest of night. Where's your light coming from? Inside, above, below? It's coming from everywhere. You are the light, right? All right. So the struggle is real. There's this like kids t-shirt, and it's got like a T-Rex with these like little arms, and it can't reach like the pizza slice to put it in its mouth properly. And it's like the struggle is real concept. And I'm experiencing the struggle is real, okay? And I'm supposed to work with this. Winter solstice energy, the struggle is real, darkest of night, trying to get to the light, trying to understand this. Okay. Okay. There are some really brutal hands that are coming out of the dark, and they don't even have skin. They're just bloody, nasty looking, sort of demonic hands. And they're clutching at the concept of people in the dark that are trying to get their way to the light. And they're pulling them by their shirts, they're pulling them by their arms, their legs, whatever, their hair, and dragging them further away from the light. And there's weakness, and there's screaming, and there is hopelessness. And there's even giving up and allowing this to just happen because there's a decision made that I'm not going to ever reach the light. So I'm tired of trying, so I'm just going to give in. That is your own illusion that you created. You don't have to go to reach the light. You are the light, remember, okay? So we're going to give in, though. We're going to follow this dark path all the way through. So I just give up and I allow myself to be dragged, all right? And this gross thing has me by the leg, and my face is in this ground, and my face is being dragged on the ground. I'm being pulled back into the dark. And I hear screams, and others are being pulled into the dark too. And I hear this collective idea, what happened? What happened to the light? What happened to our angels? What happened to our higher selves? What happened to something that was good? What happened to the spirit of love? What happened? Why are you not there for me? Why are you not helping me? And I see where each individual gets dragged as their own personal nightmare, okay? Happy holidays! It's like, the struggle is real. I can't reach the pizza and put it in my mouth. I'm a T-Rex. Being pulled into the scary. Okay. So, in my personal experience, I'm in a room, I'm in a dimensional space of my own. And there's this big, like, meatball monster. I mean, it is full of sharp teeth. It's demonic and scary looking. It's humongous. And it's rounded with a big face. Like, its whole body is pretty much a big mouth and little eyes and a nose. And then it has these very elongated arms and legs. And it's very gross looking. And it's hungry. It's starving. It's feasting. And what's interesting, another reminder, is that a soul is forever. So you can't be eaten by other souls. You can believe you can be, but that again is you living in a fantasy. You are living in a make-believe. And even if it feels real, it's because you wanted it to be real. So be very careful, okay, what you're telling yourself or what you're believing. Because souls can't eat other souls. We're all equals. Even though we have variations of vibration and purpose and presence. And as a human being, we can adopt fears about what is human and what is the spirit realm and where our power exists. But I'm here to tell you that you are powerful, my friend, okay? Especially with the spirit realm. You're so much more powerful than this world would have you believe. This world doesn't want you to know how powerful you are. It's almost laughable, okay? Because once you realize how powerful you are, that's why I'm making all these jokes, because this is actually laughable. I'm doing this so I can see what is actually in the dark here. Why are people getting pulled into this, and what is their experience like? And how can I get people out of this? I had this... I know it's like winter solstice, and I really want to say like happy holidays and make it really warm and fuzzy, like a warm crackling fire on a cold winter's day, you know. But I was exploring this Antichrist energy, and I'm going to tell you this peculiar vision. So Antichrist energy is the illusion of love, okay? And so it can go darker and darker and darker, more disturbing. I'm sure you can imagine how disturbing it could possibly get. And the scene I was shown, it was a sexually aroused scene, and there was an arousal over the torture of mankind, okay? And mankind was put on a cross like Jesus, and there was lots of people that were just suffering so badly. And then you'd have these ones that were completely hollow. They didn't have any light. I don't even know what was animating those bodies. But they found this absolutely delicious. They found it delightful, and they wanted more, insatiably more, okay? Never ending more, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, all eternity more. And so what ended up happening is I stopped time because I'm trying to understand how we can help all souls, okay? All human beings, no matter what their inspiration is and what's causing this, and how can we, what is our true harmony? Like, how can we return to our true harmony and awaken to our true selves? Everything is energy, everything is sound, everything is vibration, okay? And we have the ability to travel at any time, any place, anywhere in an infinite universe. There's no boundaries to where you can go. And so I was looking at this, and I stopped time and created basically an orb-like chamber where the soul would just have to endure time alone. And I was vulnerable to this because it's frustrating and it makes me angry, and I want to live in a world where everybody has access to the harmony, and we're all part of an exciting adventure of humankind together, because it can be so wonderful. So that was what the inspiration was. The soul would have to endure 1,000,000 years alone with himself in a small dimensional space. And so I went to God and I said, God, in 1,000,000 years, I'll come and check on the soul. 1,000,000 years comes, and I don't want anything to do with this soul. I am so sort of at the end of my rope with this behavior that I don't even care what happens to the soul. I don't even care if the soul is long forgotten about. And so I said, I'll come back in 10,000,000 years. And then I said, I'd come back in 100,000,000 years. And I said, I'd come back in 1,000,000,000 years. And even after 1,000,000,000 years, I didn't even care about the soul anymore, because I was so fed up with this energy. And so I was shown that in this space, there was many pods, basically, with these types of, basically, I don't know, they're just empty, they're emptiness. They're just souls that become representations of emptiness, of illusion, of insanity, you could call it. They lose themselves. They're basically defined as lost souls. And so in the Antichrist energy, it is pulling souls away from their own light, is manipulating them away from their own light, which is love. And they are becoming lost souls. Even in 1,000,000,000 years, I didn't want to help these lost souls, which is very kind of unlike myself, because that's all I ever do is want to help lost souls. But there was something about this that it was like the straw that broke the camel's back concept of what I went into. Anyway, God was very loving, and there was no judgment about the fact that I couldn't go back to check on the soul. And God said that he created a doorway, and that all souls who were ready to let go of all of this were welcome to move through the door, and that once you move through the door, you would forget everything, and that these lost souls then would be forgotten about. And that's just the way that it would be. And so I started to move through the door, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't allow myself to completely let go. And I saw so many souls were able to do this, and I kind of longed to be one of them, because I saw what bliss that they were in. It takes a certain level of courage to be able to turn your back on these souls. But these souls turn their back on each other, on themselves, on everybody, to the point that they actually ravaged what is a bright and beautiful future for us to all flourish in, to the point that they made it gross. And then they shoved it down our throats, and they made us feel tortured and endure their grossness. Can we forgive them for that? Is there anything left? Like, what is left here? Anyway, I couldn't go through the door, and I realized that I'd, in a way, trapped myself in my own pod in this place of lost souls, because I was like a keeper of lost souls now, because I couldn't let them go. Like, I couldn't let them go to be completely lost. And so I went back and visited that one, and I saw that it just become just a little dot of liquid. But that dot of liquid was so loud, it was pure chaos, basically. The soul, what was reduced to just a dot of liquid that was pure chaos, stuck in a trap, basically. And they all had become this. For millions of years, that was all that was left. It was just insanity. That was all that remained. And so there were others that I found. It wasn't just about, me as this like keeper of lost souls. There's many others that didn't want to move on. They wanted to help somehow. And we came with a consensus or an idea of how we were going to help them. And we started to integrate them back to the memory of themselves, back to the memory of their own light in a contained and safe space. And part of it was really basic, like simple remembering of the sound of a color, like the color yellow. And it wasn't necessarily the look of yellow, it was just the sound of the color of yellow. And it was so ridiculously gentle and was so almost not even clear that it was existing there. But it was just slowly integrating them back to the memory of what was familiar and the memory of love. And once these souls would reach a certain sound or a certain vibration, they would actually pop out of that pod and they would return back to themselves. So that's all I can tell you about that. But now here I am looking at the winter solstice energy, and I'm getting pulled into this. I'm like losing hope, and I'm letting go, and I'm allowing myself to be devoured by this dark energy. I'm allowing to be food for something that it could never be. Its stomach will never be full, okay? Its soul stomach, it's always going to be empty. It is basically a representation of the path that leads to a singularity of chaos, completely alone with the chaos of yourself. It is absolutely horrifying. But you know that these souls, that while they might be friends with each other, you know, the people in this world that are doing the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst and unspeakable things are so hollow that they can have each other when they have to self-realize, but they won't be there for one another. They will be there only with themselves because they are so hollow. They have completely closed out all light. Don't ever be afraid of hollow people. What we need to do is find a way. I mean, what is our responsibility in the midst of all of this? Everybody gets a choice. That was my choice. And as a human being in a human world, it's a much different dynamic than being a spirit in a spirit world. And the choices seem to be so much easier, to be honest. We actually have to endure all these experiences, and they're quite difficult. But even souls can struggle too. I'm going to go back into this and see what the next message is. This is a winter solstice energy message, okay? So I allow this like meatball thing to create the effect like that it's eating me. So I'm like giving up my soul to this thing. I'm actually going into this thing's mouth, and I'm going inside of its body, and I see that there's lots of other souls in here that gave in and became eaten. This is like a soul eater concept. And then we just become part of the belly of this thing that will never have enough food. It'll never have enough, okay? And we're kind of empty, you could say. We're just like dim lights. We're just, in a way, in a state of purgatory. It's it's an odd sort of like a drifting sensation, a sleepy drifting sensation, fogginess sensation, and timeless fog in the belly of this thing. It's oddly comforting. Isn't that strange? That's why it's so hard to get out of these fog places, because they become oddly comforting. It's almost like a sleep. So I snap my fingers really loud in here, and I wake up all the souls, and this thing has a terrible stomach ache all of a sudden. It has no choice but to release us. It's almost like a black hole that sucks in all of this time and all of this energy and information. And then some loud sound happens. It gets a bellyache and barfs it all back out. Then it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, almost like insignificantly small. And we're all here kind of like our heads are spinning, and we're just soul bodies now looking at one another and asking each other what happened. And each other is saying, I couldn't take it anymore. I was too tired. I was too defeated. I was too hopeless. And I take all their hands. It's a lot of hands, okay? But I can do this. We're all souls, so we've got whatever extensions we need to hold each other's hands. I take everybody's hands, and I start pulling everybody out of this dimension. That was my space. But others were pulled into this space with this specific being. And I take us out, and we're like a Christmas wreath. And we all glow different colors, and we're all very beautiful, but we're all kind of sleepy is what this is like. And we're all full of different colors of lights, and there's just kind of a fog around us though too. And it looks like a Christmas wreath that's white. And I pull us out of the darkest of the dark. And it's still dark, but it's not sort of like the blanket of a spiritual night, a dark night of the soul kind of thing. And it's snowing. And it's silent and it's crisp. And I see the light that shines down is ever there for us. And it's the power of the trees. It's the power of nature. It's the power of the earth. It's the spirit of the holidays. It's the spirit of love and family and friendship. That's what this light is. And we all become a Christmas wreath when we join hands together, when we come together to spend time with one another. And we keep the darkness at bay when we do these things. You don't realize how there is safety in numbers, and there's safety in each other's lights, and there's safety when we start to listen and support each other, actually talk. I see that there's other souls helping souls to get out of their dark nights, and they're pulling them towards the light too. That this world is not a hopeless time. This is a time where we are activated and inspired to a calling of sorts. If you don't know what your calling is yet, give it time, okay? But there are people in this world that are being asked to follow their heart or be broken. And we need to give each other time to play each other's roles as we find out what our spark is and how we are going to be guided through this time, through what's happening in the world today, okay? So if you don't know what your calling is yet, give it time and know that other souls are being activated and that they have to face a great challenge and they have to face a decision. And that decision can decide how the domino effect happens across the whole globe. And we need to pray, and we need to keep putting light into our brothers and sisters, people we don't know, all in every single country across the entire globe. And we cannot give up on each other. Even if it feels like there's no hope and nothing left, the light is very bright right now, okay? And I'm even reminded that I was surprised by this strange process with this Antichrist sort of vision and experience that I had. But it told me that no souls will ever be forgotten about. Even souls that have committed the worst of atrocities, there are still souls that will remain and support them on their way back to themselves forevermore. And that means that when you feel hopeless, remember there are souls that are still working however they can to help move energy, to help other lost souls. There are always souls out there that are there to help, okay? And allow yourself to know that that is true. You ever try this? You just lay in bed at night or maybe wake up in the morning and you try to work with a positive sensation, okay? Because you can think about what's not working, but be sure to take the time to think about what is working, or actually experience yourself living in the reality that it's working just the way you wanted it to, okay? Whether that's true or not, but give yourself that feeling as though it is. So you can lay in bed and close your eyes for a moment and define it, like pick a word. All my bills are paid, or my kids are getting great grades in school, or all of these conflicts with these people are resolved, and it's like this dream come true sensation. Maybe there's struggles with these basic day-to-day life challenges, okay? And it feels like very frustrating, and this is a really big deal in the individual life, okay? You need to just be present with not focusing on how this feels and how this feels like everything's broken and wrong and there's nothing I can do to fix it. Actually take some time to feel that it is already fixed. It is already beautiful. It is even in a place of your dream come true. See how far you can be honest in a state of emotional reality of your dreams coming true. Your dreams have come true. And now take it a step further, take it a step further, take it a step further, take it a step further. This isn't lying to yourself. This is being present with positive energy, manifestation energy, and allowing good energies into your body, good energies into your life, good energies to support in achieving these goals that are your present day reality that you are present with emotionally. Even if it isn't true yet, we're going to live in the reality that it is right now. And so whatever feels hopeless, talk to yourself and find out what you feel hopeless about. And now take some time to feel that there is no such thing as hopelessness, and turn it inside out. What then is hopeless is now so hopeful, and it's better than it's ever been before. You have the perfect house. You have a car that runs perfectly. You have a great neighborhood. You have a great job. You have a wonderful family. You have the best of friends. You found your soulmate. You have a wonderful pet. Your house is perfectly clean. You look 10 years younger. You guys know what I'm talking about. But be present in these, like, that is so cool. Oh my God, I love this house that I have. Like, oh my God, I love this car. I love my friends. I love my family. I love and just be present in that joyful energy. Do you see how powerful we are? This is like, you know what? The struggle is real. It's like kind of laughable because it's so bright. It's so wonderful right now. And so, do you see how we worked our way into the shadow, and we could handle that shadow, and it was okay to learn some things while we were in the shadow. It's okay to talk about this uncomfortable stuff, and it's okay to learn some things and say, wow, this is different. This is interesting. And then work our way from that darkest of darkest of darkest back towards the light again. That was always there, never left. You know, it's pretty cool. All right, you guys. Well, happy winter solstice. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy all the celebrations, right? Happy everything. And Happy New Year. I'll probably make a video before the new year, but I'm just going to say it. Hope you're all well, and bye for now.